Why is that not working? Oh. Good. Oh, finally. Okay, that was a lot dumber than it should have been. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, let me let me get back to what I was doing. Oh my. Oh, damn. 100% professional. Actually, I need to switch out of this. Hi. Hi, Icarus. How's it going? It's good to see you. All right, I gotta figure it out though. Hi, goddess. Hello. Driving but listening. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. I just thought I would check in with people to show that I'm still alive. Hi, Granny. Hello. Hi, Deb. Hi. How's it going, guys? I finally got it to work. My stream mode is like kind of messed up. I don't know if I fully understand it, but I think I have two accounts. I think I have one in dark arts and then in light. So trying to get signed in and oh, hi Christina, hello. Trying to get signed in and out. It was like annoying. Oh yeah. Hi Snake. Hi Rick, how's it going? Oh my goodness. Such a awesome group of people. Sorry, very random. I'm gonna be hanging out with my folks later. So I figured come in, say hi, let you know that I'm still alive. It's good. Good, Rick. Good. Yeah. So it's been pretty boring on my end. I've been sick for like a month. Hi, Hoosier. Hi. Yeah. When I get sick, I get sick. I mean, I guess I kind of got sick in like November, and then I was pretty much sick all through December, off and on. It's because I have a little nephew, and he's adorable, but he's in daycare, so he picks up everything, and then you get everything. And if you're not around people for a living, you don't get as exposed to things that maybe would help you be better immune to that kind of stuff. So yeah. So I was just coming to say hi and see what everybody was up to. Catching you up with my busy life of my cats. And no, actually I've been seeing people. So yeah, how are you, Rick? You want to come up and say hi, or I guess I could put the link in if anybody wants to come up and say hi. We can chitter chatter and pitter patter about things, stuff, and things very officially. Let me see if I can do this. There we go. Hopefully that works. Yeah. Aww. Okay. Yeah, so basically much has happened. and much of nothing has happened the way I see it. And it's a lot of information, that's for sure. Especially with what Erica's going through, more information coming out. I think the appeals is going to be good. I think it's going to be good, guys. I think Lehman and Uliana know what they're talking about. We shall see. It does concern me that, Judge Gull has a daughter that's probably going to take her place. So that's fun. What a cluster, guys. What a cluster. So, yeah. But other than that, not too much is going on. Yeah, it looks like this chat is a little behind. I don't know how to fix that. But interesting. Wonder if that's interesting. So, yeah, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. No, it doesn't. It does not. Wish my thing would. Let me see. Maybe if I do regular. No, maybe 12. Okay, well, for whatever reason, those aren't going through, but I'll just look at it from here. But yeah, so yeah. How's everybody doing? That's good to know, Snay. I did not know that. I wish there was a way to put this up on the screen. No, but okay, well. That's good because it's funny, but if you look into Indiana and like the way that they have their whole county thing set up, it's set up in a way that you could definitely manipulate to have like that would be easier for like a good old boys system to get in there and infiltrate. So yeah, we do miss you, Rick. A lot of people do. A lot of people ask about you too. Hi, Gretchen. Hello. Pretty consistently, if there are ways that, if you have like a Cash App or a Venmo, I don't really trust because like it shows like your whole name and stuff. You have to like be very careful and selective about how you set up the privacy on that stuff. But if you have something that you want to list in chat, you know, for you and the pups, we would be happy to, yeah. But as long as it goes straight to you, because I see today. So yeah, but gosh, what all has happened? We got Noe out. She has to keep things hidden from mom. Maybe. Got Noe out. Prof and Erica have been doing their stuff. And people have been relatively quiet, which is nice. So. So. Classes still. Yeah. But I'm going to go pick up my parents probably like around 6:30ish. So it's what time is it? It's 3:30 here now. So I probably won't be on the whole time, but I just wanted to come say hi. Still alive. They haven't gotten me yet. So, yep. Cats are good. Noisy as flippity flip. Trying not to swear so flippin' much. But yeah, Loopy's really noisy. Other than that, you know. Oh, hi, Big Fish. Thank you. Thank you. I tried to spruce up a little. Just a wee bit. Um, but yeah, I hope everybody's been having a good holiday season. I want to say this was like pretty much like, oh gosh. Okay, I think it's the 1 year anniversary since Alex put out his Delphi archive. And I want to say it's the 2 year anniversary since, how do I see that actually? About channel. January 27th. I think I missed it. Oh shit. Well, it's been 2 years since I started this channel. So interesting. Hope we made another year, guys. I don't know what to say. Feeling very blessed. And I'm very excited that more people are starting channels and talking about this shit. Because it's a lot. It's a lot for anybody. You know, it would be overwhelming just, you know, if you didn't include the harassment or the bullshit, you know. So, yeah. But that's pretty much it. I don't think I got through all of Prof's live yesterday, but you know, that stuff is not, it's not fun talking about all the stuff that they did to him. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Icarus. Thank you. Um, you were on Ted Investigates on Monday? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, that's awesome. See today. I will check it out. Um, definitely. So, let me make sure this is still. Yeah, Deb was there. Okay. I think I was there. I was wondering who that was. I didn't know who that was. Interesting. But, yeah. Ted seems like he does good work. I haven't fully watched a lot of stuff of his, but you know, I popped in hoping to keep him an independent voice. Not that there's anything I can do about that, other than just encourage people to, you know, be critical thinkers and do what you can and all that shit. So, all that stuff. So, yeah. I think, you know, it's really been bothering me, like, having to talk about child predation so much and, like, looking into it and all that stuff. And so I do try to limit that kind of stuff that we talk about because it's just really icky, you know? Um, and there's a lot of it, you know. You don't want to dig too deeply because eventually you run into it and it's not far down. So, but recently, like, I've been stuck on. So, if we go through the timeline again, hold on real quick. And then I'll get off the flipping phone. He tells way too much personal stuff. Okay. Yeah. Deb, then somebody needs to talk to him behind the scenes. You know, here's something. When I first got on it, I was like, "Puh, it's, I mean, let's not be paranoid. There's no reason to like worry about people over the internet." Oh, you sweet summer child. You did not know. I know now. So, yes. If he doesn't believe me as a female, then talk to Prof, talk to Snay, talk to Noe. Yeah. That's real. That is real. Yeah, wrong. Wrong. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would have shut the heck up about everything and probably not shown my face. But I do remember like one of the first comments I ever got in reaction to a video was somebody came in and was like, "I feel like you have really good information. It's just that you're so boring to listen to." And I was like, I just laughed because I was like, I know, like I don't know how to regulate my voice. Like I've gotten better, but it was funny because it was like, yeah, true, fair, fair. So now I try to regulate my voice instead of having it just be monotone. But anywho, yeah, somebody tell him behind the scenes, like, just shut your mouth. You don't need to be saying where you're going. My voice can be boring sometimes, I think, especially if you go back to like my first presentations. Oh, so nervous. And I was like, I'm one of those people that's like, I'll never do public speaking as long as I live. Like, no, you can't, you couldn't, you would, if you had a gun to my head, I would never do public speaking. And now here I am, like talking to people. Oh, thanks, Snay. Thank you guys. Thanks, Deb. I mean, go, just, if you want to laugh and you need to fall asleep, go back to the first rune presentation. You shall see. But anyway, oh yeah, so I was kind of like stuck on a question that I was like, maybe if I put it out to the world, they will help me see it more clearly anyway. And so if we go through the timeline, and actually, like, maybe I should just pull it up. Oh, oh, thank you, Hoosier. Well, I can't necessarily pull it up. Oh, let me see. Well, maybe if I just look at it by myself, I can like see it. And I won't be able to see chat. Well, actually, if I look at me figuring shit out on the fly. Oh my god, it's terrible. It's terrible. Okay, there we go. I can see chat now. Anyway, so I just want to do a rundown and see if anybody thinks, first of all, I'm missing something in the timeline that's crucial, because the presentation that I'm doing, like, oh, I made a very comprehensive timeline of a lot of shit, not necessarily with different suspects, but with it, you'll see. But anyway, yeah, it got a little overwhelming, and it's kind of like how it looks. It really does look like Rick Allen was patsied. He was framed. And whether that was kind of like a systemic thing where it kind of gravitated towards that in a more emergent sense, or it was deliberate, like, I'd rather just stick to as factual as possible, but it's really looking like in some shape or form or manner he was set up. So that's where I am, but I'll go through this real quick because, so, Abby and Libby are presumably abducted and murdered between the 13th and 14th. We still don't know that because we have no digital evidence that says definitively when and where they were, which is just so stupid. It's like the most basic dumb shit ever. So, anyway, so that happens. And then I believe, I don't know the exact dates, but Rick gets in touch and talks with Dan Doolin on the 18th of February, 2017. Then by the 22nd, they have the press conference. They release like a video, or I think just an image. What was it? Just an image of Bridge Guy. And then I think like Down the Hill or something like that. But then on the 25th, they're talking with Keegan and Tony Klein, and I think predominantly Keegan, right? And I think in there he does have a polygraph test. So, and of course, like if it's not permitted in court, what would it matter? But it's interesting that they did the resources. They had the resources to do that. Okay, bye, Snay. Have a good one. Take care. Hi, Old Mort. Hello. Why are you not a mod? Hold on. 1 second. Oh, no. There we go. Ha. Sweet. Okay, so then we have Keegan Klein being interviewed on the 25th of February, and I forget when they go to Vegas, so that's another thing that I don't remember. But then on March 11th, they arrest Ron Logan for unrelated stuff. It was, what was it? It was probation violation, driving under the influence, driving on a suspended license. So he appears in court on the 13th of March, and by April 3rd, he's pled guilty. He received a 2-year prison sentence for the traffic and probation offenses, but that sentence was eventually reduced to home detention. Interesting. Hi, Mary Rose. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, hi, Four Bits. Finally, some enlightenment. Well, I don't know how enlightened it will be, but it is interesting, like, how badly did he mess up in the system that he got 2.5 years? What was it? 2.5? 2-year prison sentence for the traffic probation offenses, but it was eventually reduced to home detention. So he didn't serve the full 2 years in prison. Interesting, right? Okay. So then on the 17th of March, there's the search warrant arrest. Search warrant request. It was the affidavit. And that's when they're going and looking for not only clothing and murder weapons and all that kind of stuff, but they're also looking for digital evidence, right? Mary cooking as we speak. Nice. Very good. Very good. So that happens. And then so there was conflicting information too about this. Ron, well, no, we'll go into that. We'll go into that later. How about this? They said that the first 70 days between the 28th of April and the 30th of June were missing. But I also saw somewhere that it was, I think, around the 20th of February is the earliest that stuff gets deleted. And I don't know where that is. in here because it's 14 pages and it's all single spaced. Oh, all right. I need to do a better job of like formatting stuff. I hope so, Four Pits. I hope so. That would be fantastic news. So, yeah. So that happens. That's roughly around the time that the 70 days goes missing, even though it could be as early as February 20th. So by July 2017, we have the first composite sketch released, The Old Bridge Guy. And then I just included this because, this was an example of Indiana actually doing an okay job. Oh, hi, Iron. Hi. Hi, Digital. Hi, guys. Sorry, my voice is still not fully back. But, so by August 3rd, 2017, we have Buster Hernandez getting arrested. And he was a sextortionist. He produced child exploitative materials. He was a terrorist because he was calling in mass bomb threats and stuff. Hi, Kelly. Hi. Yeah, I'm ready to see some heads start rolling too. Knock on wood. Anyway, so yeah, they can, well, like Indiana, when they went to with the help of the FBI, because they accepted the help of the FBI, can actually do some shit correctly or some stuff correctly, they can actually apprehend somebody like Buster Hernandez. Interesting. So by the 20th of September, that was the first discovery of DVR program, the program error. So by the 20th of September, they realized, and this is 2017, that the DVR had messed up. See, but I have here, it's not just the 28th of April through the 30th of June. It says through starting around the 20th of February 2017, which would make sense because, they have to go back and do all those depositions or whatever with, what's his face, Holder and Westfall and douchebag A, douchebag B, connected to Shot's account. Well, Reese Davis says that, Keegan, who was kind of one of the main guys using Anthony Shots and maybe the creator of Anthony Shots, was preloading CSAM onto phones for Ron. So that's something. Why hasn't anybody really talked to Reese? But anyway, so then by November of 2017, you have the Carroll County prosecutor, Robert Ives. He announces his retirement, which will be effective December 31st, 2017. So by the end of the year. Yeah, I agree with you, Deb. I agree with that. Ives announces his retirement that will be effective by the end of the year, December 31st. And it's always the 31st with these people because it's the inverse of 13. I don't know. Maybe that's just where the mind goes, but it could also be because it's at the end of months, Anyway, I did not take my ADD medicine today. We're going to be all over the place, guys. So Ives announces his retirement, and this is in November 2017. And this is interesting because he cites personal reasons. He's choosing to step down before his term ends, okay, while there's two major investigations that are unsolved, Flora and DELPHI. So, and he went to the Indiana University School of Law. So, is that the one in Bloomington, or where is that one? If you guys know, let me know. So, and he was first appointed prosecutor of Carroll County in 1987. with Kyle Smith. I don't know. That's a rumor. And who's Kyle Smith again? You guys gotta catch me up. I don't know my stuff. I do not know all of the stuff. So then he served multiple terms in office over the decades. So, he won several elections, and his last stint began roughly around 2010. Hi, Skip. Recorded over from February. Oh, thank you, Skip, in to save the day. Okay, thank you, Skip. Skip knows his stuff. Bloomington. Okay, that's what I thought, Hoosier. Okay, thank you. And interestingly, Fouts is connected to Purdue, by the way, guys. Like, I did not realize he was a lecturer there. There's a lot of people that hail from Purdue, unfortunately, because I liked Purdue. Anyway, not that it's all terrible, but whatever. So yeah, so I think the last time Ives got elected was in roughly around 2010. And, he did oversee the investigations into the Flora arson fire and the Delphi murders. County's chief criminal prosecutor. Of course, he did like the, local felony misdemeanor and doing all the typical responsibilities. But the Republican Party caucus chose Nicholas McClelland as the successor because he was stepping down. Okay, who is Kyle Smith? Let me know. Mayor Yates was at the House of Representatives meeting with Senator Ron Alting yesterday. Okay. Yeah, let me know about Kyle Smith, Iron. That would be good to know. Basically, Ives steps down early. They have to appoint someone. The Republican caucus has to appoint someone to be the prosecutor, so they appoint Nicholas McClelland. But then, interestingly, after Ives retires, he's later sworn in again as the deputy prosecutor in Carroll County. And this is like around April 2019, right? Well, what else happens in April 2019? Well, we're going to see, guys. We're going to see. So, in interviews, Ives, yeah. Oh, yeah, he goes through all the shady stuff about, it was a weird investigation, that kind of stuff. But then by October 2024, when he's subpoenaed to testify during Rick Allen's court, he gets it quashed. And, I guess because he had been off the case for a while, even though he was then deputy Carroll County prosecutor. Anyway, so he's like, oh, I don't have relevant information, so it would be a waste of time. That kind of thing. It's like, how brave, sir. But maybe he genuinely didn't know anything. I don't know. I do not know. So then by December 2017, and it could be earlier, but I at least found documentation on both Web Sleuths and Reddit showing that Gray Hughes had started to put out his first 3D reenactment reconstruction of the crime scene. And yeah, word for integrity. Oh yeah, Kyle posted the first picture on Facebook tagging himself with Kelsey and Michaela. Okay, interesting. So the more I dug into Gray Hughes, I thought he had been in contact with law enforcement, and well, he did interview the families, the Patty and German families, but he had constructed that timeline based on timestamps that he found, based on, I don't really know, because it said that it wasn't based on anything that law enforcement gave him, but it still was more official than what the families gave him. So whatever the case is, like, I do think that Gray Hughes did his due diligence. I think he tried to create something comprehensive that made sense and that was visual for people to see. Now, does it later become a quagmire of the whole case? Yeah, pretty much, but we'll get to that. Um, okay, so we got through 2017, right? There's a lot of things happening, but that's kind of what happens, okay? So the start of 2018, January 31st, 2018, Jay Abbott, who is the special agent in charge, the SAC, I don't know why they can't come up with a cooler name, the SAC of the Indianapolis FBI field office, he retires. And basically, like, the Jared Fogle investigation starts, I want to say, in July 2015. Larry Nassar starts either in 2015 or 2016. Nassar, of course, is the physician for the U.S. women's Olympic gymnasts, and he is El Creepo Majoro, like, just crazy creep. Same with Fogle, but and again, like, Abbott would only be really in charge of sending people to go places, but that happened. So the Fogle thing happened, the Nassar thing happened, the Buster Hernandez thing happened, and then the Anthony Shots thing happened. So, and the FBI, ISP, and Peru police all investigated Keegan Klein there around the 25th of February, 2017, right? I think there were like a couple days. It was like 24th, 25th, 26th, something like that. So let me make sure the chat is still going. Okay, yeah. Oh, hi, Carla. Sorry. The StreamYard chat is like frozen. So I'm sorry, guys, if I'm like missing saying hi to people. StreamYard has been acting up. That's why I need to learn OBS. But again, I don't want to get distracted. I'm going to focus. Okay. So I wonder if, no, I can't. Damn. I guess if I did open it in Chrome, no, it's already in Chrome. Never mind. Don't listen to me. Okay, so not much happens in 2018, except that the terrific trio, as I like to call them, basically Click, Ferenczi, and Murphy are investigating people that need investigating. Like Elvis Field's sisters later are calling in tips on him. So, I mean, they're doing their due diligence. And they're investigating this shit. And they're doing a pretty thorough job. Even if it's, not necessarily the right rabbit hole, it's still a criminal rabbit hole that they go down. And there's some suspicious stuff around those people, let me just say. So, anyway, that's going on pretty much. Like, the major thing that starts, I think it's there's a January through February where Click, Ferenczi, and Murphy come together, and that's with Mary Jacobs, Elvis Field's sister. Interesting, Four Pits. That's good to know. So yeah, that's like February or January and February 2018. By August 2018, that's when they're really starting to compile their report. It looks like, anyway, because there's the Odin report that's coming together. But after 2018 through 2019 through 2023, there's they're continuing to collect records, tips, and on like a bunch of things. But it's predominantly in 2018 when that investigation. Um, Interesting for Fitz. You don't think that Fouts having the allegations brought against him by Jalen Rain and then him resigning are indicative of anything? And I would say, like, yes, no charges have been brought against him, but you also have to look at the people that should be doing the arrests. So there's that. Anyway. Okay. So we'll get back to this. Anyway, that's 2018. In 2018, I think that's when like a lot of suspects are postulated or posited, brought forward. Um, the random people from around the country and stuff like that. The first murmurings, I think of like connecting it with Evansdale, the Delphi stuff with Evansdale. Yeah, that's about all I could think of for that. But, open to more ideas and stuff. So, discover to put DP in the clear. Okay. Well, anyway, I did skip. I did talk about him. I talked about him August 3rd, 2017, and how that was like an actual good example of ISB actually working with FBI. But you've brought up some pretty good information and some pretty good points on some of the shady stuff with ICAC behind that, which will be pretty interesting, that I hope you expound upon someday. Because I think people would really be interested to hear that theory. So, but here's where we're getting confused, okay? Because Amy G has talked about this a lot. Amy G has talked about, she does excellent work. If you guys aren't already subscribed, you should be, please. She's trying to understand and look at the geofencing and the phone data, which is the only flipping thing that's really important right now. Because not only do we not have, we don't know when the girls go missing. Like, I don't know how to like impress that upon people enough that we really don't have any of that information. So I wish the chat wasn't freezing. Maybe if I take that off, it'll like, I wish I was smarter at this kind of stuff. Anyway. God damn it. All right. Just focus. Okay. So the point is that I'm running into this issue in 2018 into 2019 of like, the FBI is probably looking at the geofencing and is probably looking at the digital evidence and doing all of that stuff. Now, I remember, so there's several things that need to happen, okay? Basically, first we need to actually have phone data. We need to have access to digital evidence, all of those kind of things. It doesn't matter if it's GPS, pings, we need all of it. Just give us all of it. And give it to somebody who understands it. Don't give it to me. That needs to be looked at. But then we also need to know the political infighting that was probably happening around that time. Because if you got, oh, hi, Ariel. Because if you think about it, Why is this still not updating? So annoying. All right. Hold on, let me get chat up on my phone just so I can see what's going on. I'm so hungry. Okay. All messages. There we go. All right, at least I'll be able to see what, because it's not updating on stupid, what's that called? StreamYard. I don't like Stream. That's why I need to learn OBS. If anybody is like in my area that could like come over to my, actually, never mind. I'll figure it out. Anyway, so, what I'm trying to say is that I think Amy's right. I think Amy has speculated, but I think she has made some interesting points about the speculation that whatever was going on throughout 2018 into 2019, it had to do with the handling of digital evidence. Okay? Just a theory, just speculation, because we don't know. We weren't there. But, you know, as Amy points out with like the recovery of the recovery of the lost tip from 2019, the 1 of 1 print job, I think there were politics involved, and I think the FBI was butting heads with Unified Command, at least. But again, I don't know that. That's just the theory. So by the time that we're going into 2019, let's see, we have the April 22nd, 2019. You're getting, let me put these on Do Not Disturb. There we go. Okay. So I should have just taken my medicine. Sorry, guys. April 22nd, 2019, the Young Bridge Guy sketch is released. I don't know why this wasn't more infuriating for a bunch of people, because, and sorry if I haven't said hi to people coming in, because they went two full years of letting people look for an old guy, and now they want to pivot and look for a young guy. That's dumb. That's a major oopsie. And that's very dumb. Very, very dumb. Like, and then for Doug Carter to come out and kind of gaslight people with the whole, like, you didn't expect us to pivot and to do the right thing. It's funny because it's like, it's a little bit of a mind fluke of, you didn't expect us to pivot and do good investigative work, but we did. So now we are pivoting because we're that good. Yeah, maybe scrutinize us, do whatever you have to, but we're doing the right thing. And it's like, congratulations, you're doing your job, and you're gaslighting us into thinking that you're heroic for doing your job. Good job, buddy. You know? So basically, This is the quagmire, guys, because that happens, and I don't know what else happens, but by October 29th, 2019, Kathy Shank is printing off the one of one print job on the cleared lead of Rick Allen. Why? Because the things that I think of, like, does anybody have theories about this? The thing that I'm thinking is that something happened with the digital evidence, and then for whatever reason, they decided to switch up the sketches, and then we have someone printing off a cleared lead of Rick Allen. Does anybody have any ideas as to why that would be? Because I don't. All I can think of right now is literally that something might have happened in 2018 into 2019 between Unified Command and the FBI. The FBI would be the people to look into the digital evidence, and then the digital evidence isn't really talked about or looked at, and they are releasing a completely different sketch. And Doug Carter's all over the place about what the sketch is and what it means and blah, 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 blah. Hi. Hi, worker. Welcome. All of that stuff is happening, in my opinion, based on context clues. And so that by the time that October later in 2019 comes around, somebody is printing off a cleared tip of Rick Allen, and it's a one of one print job. And you know, as Amy G points out, it's, you know, that's not even in her job description to do that. So it's like, why? You know, and put them on a different path. Maybe Oldmore, but they didn't really explain it either. They just said, "Oh, you didn't think that we would do a good job? We wouldn't do our jobs, and, like, you know, actually follow the leads where they go." You know, it was like this shutdown before we could even ask too many questions, kind of thing. So why is somebody printing out a thing of Richard Allen? You know, I think something is happening, literally. And Amy points out that, like, the way that they go about investigating Rick too, and they're looking through the tips, and maybe that's why the one of one print job gets printed out, and then they never use any of his digital forensic evidence in trial, says that he's pretty much cleared, right? So, the crux of the cover-up. There we go, Skip. I mean, but see, this is the thing. I need you guys' minds because I haven't been here as long. I don't know all the intricacies. And it's been it's been purposely contaminated, in my opinion. Allegedly. It's been purposely contaminated. So, yeah, that's where I'm stuck. And it's like, it's not that I need to know the answer to that. It's that I need something. I need an outlet to play with. I need something to kind of insert in there so that I can play with it and kind of, like, you know, move things around a little bit. Hi, Diana. Hi, Dieter. Hi. Yeah. So, because the way that my mind works is that, like, I'm not going to be able to find anything definitive. I'm going to be able to understand the way systems work and the way that, well, more that how open systems work, right? Because that's even more frustrating because open systems are, it's not like a game with set rules. It's like, it's like anything goes, you know? It's pretty much, what's that lady with her determinism or whatever? Bullshit. I don't believe in that shit, by the way. She can suck it. No, I'm joking. She's very intelligent. I'll shut up. But, yeah. So, does anybody have any ideas? Please. It drives me kind of crazy. It does, because it's like, obviously Rick's digital footprint and anything that they had on him did not make him guilty because they didn't use it. They should have used it, right? I think a lot of the digital evidence had to be hidden because I think there was a lot of serious predation, exploitation stuff, right? I think that's why that has to get so buried. But it's like, then why wasn't the FBI kind of like putting their foot down a little bit? But it does kind of make sense because the FBI kind of pussyfooted around with Fogel and definitely with Nasser. So, you see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a giant, nefarious, like, CSAM for people to be covering their asses, you know? Think about it logically. The sketch came from a witness. That means the sketch changed because something about a witness changed. It's pretty simple. That's been made hard by deception. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Hi, Kelly. Sorry, I didn't see you come in. Sorry if anybody came in and I didn't see you. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, that's what this is what I've been thinking about. Because if we go and we look at Amy G's work, the body of Amy G's work, she does excellent work. You should all subscribe. Also, please subscribe to Kelly, to Diana. If you guys want to put links to your channels in, please do. Deb, do you have one? Oldmort, do you have one? Dieter, do you have one? Dieter, do you want a wrench? I thought I gave you a wrench. Oh my god. Spaz Queen. Skip, do you want a wrench? Who would like a wrench? Iron, would you like a wrench? I'm gonna give you a wrench. Add as moderator. Standard moderator. Save. Okay. I'm gonna give you a wrench. You get a wrench and you get a wrench. Oh my god. Sorry. Okay, but do you guys understand what I'm like stuck on? I'm stuck on this. Yeah, I'm stuck on this. 80% of wrongful convictions are eyewitness testimony. Dieter, let me know if you get one, because like you should have one now. I just roped him. Oh, thank you, Diana. Thank you. They were getting pretty hairy. Thank you, Kelly. Yes, please subscribe. You do great work sociologically, which is really important on this case, I think, because again, like what we're looking at, yes, I do think that there is like there's definitely some underhanded organized child predation, because there was Anthony Shots, you know, there was Keegan Kline putting stuff on burner phones for Ron Logan. Like that's a little bit of an organized, coordinated thing, right? Like this is known. But, and I agree, Diana, eyewitness testimony sucks. Because like that's why if I was ever, okay, just as an aside, if I ever witnessed a murder, I would definitely tell the cops, just know that I was liable to see a lot of different things because the brain does weird stuff when you're traumatized, you know. Anyway, so Kelly's work is very important because what we're looking at probably with the police corruption is that there are elites like judges and lawyers and professionals and politicians and people in high places that are probably into really grody shit. And, you know, law enforcement might be paid to look the other way. Who knows? Who knows? This is alleged. This is speculative, right? But the point is that why do systems operate the way that they do? Well, because they're made of humans. And sociology shows us that group dynamics operate, you know, pretty consistently. You have to be quiet. You can come say hi. Ugh. Mm-hmm. All right, come say hi. Yeah. You're so loud though. Come here. Oh my god. We need to feed you less. Huh? He's sassy. You want to say hi? Look it. The people are excited to see you. Bossy pants. Are you really loud and bossy in the middle of the night? And like nobody gets sleep? And it sucks sometimes? You smell like the outside. Were you outside? Oh, Lulu's coming too. Everybody wants to come say hi. They say hi. Everybody says hi. CP. Cody Patty. Okay. Oh, hi, Heavy Metal. Sorry. Hey. So, I was asking illegal stuff too. So this seems to be a thing. And Kelly, I'm excited for like everything that you do because yeah, years and years of bad ethics and illegal shit too. So, calming trees worth wonder. Do we need to give you some? It's too soon. No, I'm not gonna. I was gonna say some kitty Haldol. No, it's too soon. That's not cool, dude. That is not cool. Yeah. Yeah, please subscribe to Kelly, guys. Definitely. You know, that's some good work there because I think a lot of this like group dynamics, like even coming down, oh, you want to say hi too? Everybody says hi. But you gotta kind of look at the camera. I know. She's like me. She's like, don't tell me what to do. Hi, Moonbeam. Look, look, look. Yay. Good job, kitty. That was such a good kitty. And she's like, fuck you, bitch. Sorry. I'm working on my mouth. So what were we talking about, guys? We were talking about group dynamics. Yeah. Thank you. Daisy, yes. Daisy asked too. Please, because you know, Daisy is pretty much laying out the fact that like why is all the digital evidence hidden? Well, because it would give us, you know, it would give us a lot more information. Like that's where I'm like, you little pansy. Like, why couldn't you have been like, he was like, oh, you know, basic investigative work would have solved this in like, you know, the first week or so. And it's like, yeah, if you had looked at the digital evidence, it would have. That's right. Yeah. Good job, buddy. Good job. So, digital evidence, group dynamics on how groups behave, especially when they're covering their own asses, or they're brought in to shill or, you know, whatever the ulterior motive is, for whatever reason, groups behave a very certain way, and you can usually follow it. And so that's what I'm seeing with a lot of law enforcement stuff. Because, like, if we think about it this way too, the first time, like, let's say you're a cop, and this sucks. I would never want to be in this position, but let's say you're a cop and you see your partner, your buddy cop that you usually have shifts with, doing something illegal, like taking, money from like some illegal operation, or like getting like sexual favors on the side, in order to keep quiet about something or whatever the case is. Yes, thank you, Kelly. And also please post yours too. Please, everybody, please subscribe to Daisy and Kelly and anybody else that wants to promote their channel. Four Pits does amazing shorts. Oh, hey, Christina, awesome work too. Like, Christina has nailed it, by the way, like with the receipts on some really weird, horrible stuff. But, and it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense, actually. So, sorry, I'm very discombobulated. What were we talking about, guys? Hi, 26 Dead Zombies. I'm sorry I didn't see you come in. Let me see. It's kind of gross and icky. I love you so much, Christina. I love you so. It's kind of gross and icky. Gray Hughes live and thought it was interesting that Gray said Mike is working with Ali. Like, And then what is the victims news on air? Thank you, Heavy Metal. Oh my gosh, I love you. Go subscribe to Erica too, guys. I just need to like make a list and check it twice and put it in all my descriptions on the people that need to be listened to and talked to and or like, interacted with, because you guys all have excellent Rotting Jewels, thank you. Yes. Anarch, yes, thank you. You guys, I love you. Thank you for being like a whole part of my brain that is missing all the time. I just get hyper fixated on this one thing, and then it's like, and it's not even solvable, because what happens after all that time with all those digital records? Where did they go? What really happened to them? That's what I want to know. Why didn't they have them to begin with? They had to have. That had to be the first thing that they looked at. And then for it to just disappear, was that part of the 70 days of stuff that went away? Was that, where did it go? Why did it go? Wow, we can't do that. We can't do intentions or motives or anything like that. They destroy them, yeah. Gary Hughes just says little kid crying, yeah. They get got away. Oh, It's a New Day's awesome. Yes, please subscribe to her too. We've got like a whole community of people coming together. Oh, I love you too. Love you too. Look, I can do that too. They're supposed to have a destroy log. Why? Really? All great. Do you want to be a mod? Who else wants to be a mod? 26. Do you want to be a mod? See today. Do you want to be a mod? Let me know, guys. I know how to do that, because I'm pretty talented in that way. Pretty smart when it comes to streaming online, Where another girl in Delphi went missing? What? Allowing them to do their job. What the fuck? See, I don't like that. I don't like the, oh, you owe me. You owe me one. Criminal Network, thank you. Yeah, do you guys do you want a mod, Wrench? 26 or see today, several years ago. Of the chicken hawk. That's what Lisa kept talking about. I need to read that too. Should never be destruction records. Yeah, why? Oh, hi J Rabbit. Hello. Check out Loophole Lawyer. Vary cases differently. Okay. I will. Thank you. Do you want a wrench, Rabbit? It is very good to see you, by the way. Long time no see. Just let me know, guys. Let me know. I know how to do that. I'm very talented. You know me. So, no. Okay. No. Oh my gosh. These kitties got lunch too, and they're like all up in here begging for food again. I'm like, girls. Even though one was a boy. Love you, but no. It's okay. I understand. Please keep that comment up though. Loophole Lawyer. Well, if I go back and listen to it, I said it now, so actually I can put it on screen. Yay. Yay. Now I will have it in writing somewhere. Sure, the mod thing. Awesome. Cool. The uncatalogued interviews. What? The uncatalogued interviews just prove that LE weren't doing their job for weeks. Uncatalogued. Huh. Mother truckers. Well, and Skip sent me it. I should go look and see what Skip says. But basically, where is that? Yeah, so the first time that Unified Command discovers that the DVR program error had occurred was the 20th of September 20. Hi, Lisa. 2017. Did you ever go back on GitHub? No, I'm not. Oh, to Christina. No. Okay. Yeah, I don't go to. Oh, do not go to there. Oh yes, please subscribe to Prof too. Damn. Oh, and Rick Snay, guys. He was in here and he says hey. And hopefully there's a way that he can he has some sort of support pathway. God. I'm good at this. You just have to fake it till I make it. I love all of you guys. I've missed you so. Yeah, let me see. Oh, that's another one. They use evidence or evidence.com according to the website. There's no way to leave interviews uncatalogued. What the fuck? It prompts the supervisor if the officer doesn't catalog at the end of their shift. Yeah, you missed Snay. He was in earlier. Hi, Aaron. Kathy Allen expressed displeasure at lawyers that were active on social media after Bob being next to her throughout the trial. Amen. Yeah, you too, Four Pits. You've been around a long time too. You guys know the way things work. There would be emails with prompts on the website letting them know they didn't catalog their interview. Keeps escalating. What the fuck? So, see, this is another thing where it's like, this feels deliberate at this point, right? And again, feels isn't evidence, but letting them know, prompts from the website letting them know they didn't catalog their interview, and it keeps building. So there's no way to do that for weeks. I mean, at some point, okay, no, I'm just yeah, we're not gonna go there, but it is kind of like, at what point do I have to swallow these lies? You want to be careful. But when certain people lied about Kathy Allen being displeased with certain lawyers. That was that was it for me. Cause oh yeah, please check out Four Pits. All of his shorts are really good. And EOA's new video, yes. Huh. Okay. Well, I'm gonna need to see some good faith from some people before I come around. Yeah, that would be a good question. That would be a good question. I mean, he's very personable. Yeah, he's very personable and charismatic. So lawyers are like that. Not all lawyers, but a lot of lawyers, especially trial lawyers, are like that. Hashtag not all lawyers. Swallow all the amen, Dieter. We would be so full. We would be so full. Oh, it would be the country buffet. Mm-hmm. I don't think any reasonable person thinks the interviews were accidentally recorded. Thank you. Thank you. Any reasonable person. Amen. Because it's like, at what point can we just give it to ourselves? Like, I'm going to give myself this one, okay? I really think that you had to go out of your way to mess up that much, right? Yeah. This was very interesting. HMR, the stuff about Gacy and how many more victims there probably were, it's pretty flippin' creepy. And then it irritates me that, you know, the cop that they have on in that podcast, and this is briefly, we're talking about Gacy for a second, but um they all kind of like, they laugh about there being a child pedophilia ring when there was the Candyman down in Houston. The not just Gacy, but also Fox Island. There was somebody out in California, and then there was the Process Church. So it's like, okay. I mean, are we really gonna laugh about it? But all right. Sorry, that rant's over. All I can hear is Johnny Depp angrily telling Amber Heard, "You're so ambitious." When I love Johnny. I love Johnny Depp. I watched that. That's how I got into LawTube. I watched oh my god, Emily D. Baker, like, every day. And they're East Coast, because I think they were in, what, Maryland? Was it Maryland where that? And I got up early every day, guys, for that. So, Skip, and if that's true, then where are the consequences and repercussions for these incompetent buffoons? Yes, they get awards and Comic-Con, and they get promotions. Yeah. Hustling for his channel, trying to normalize the term cranks. Yeah. Osbrook, I'm not gonna. Yeah, if you guys ever want to know how I really feel, contact me, but via email, and I have things to say. But I'm not gonna do it publicly. Redo a podcast. Yeah. Well, because of the audio issues, which I guess, if you're a stickler for that, and they were bad. The tapes were bad. And hard to listen to, but everyone I missed had to cook for me. Oh, you're fine. You're fine, Digital. Osberg, subscribe to your channel. He's watching you. He's watching you. Good luck. Johnny Depp has my heart. He's rough around the edges. I know. I love him. I loved, oh my gosh. I loved the grumpy, when he said the grumpy. Oh, I know. I've been in love with Keanu Reeves my entire life, Deb. I saw him in Speed and I was like, yes, I want to marry him. Did Johnny Depp get new teeth? I don't know. Boot him, Christina. Well, I guess it's better to have an eye. Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him. That there are lots of con men and women at Crime Con. Yeah. And I think Delphi is going to be a really good documented case of how true crime spaces get infiltrated by people that are trying to grift, they're trying to narrative steer, they're planting misinformation, they're trying to distract. And I think that would be another great thing for Kelly to discuss because, it's this new sociological phenomenon of like, I think I've complained about this to Prof before, but like, it's such a balance between like having a community and wanting to hang out with people and talk with familiar faces and connect in this way and try to understand something horrific and make sense out of it so that like the world is a little less scary, but then it's also like this is serious too. And where do you strike that balance? Where do you balance out the like when things become real life? And it's tricky for people like when I see people that I've seen like harass me or do whatever, and I see like people that watch my channel that I like go over and watch them. Initially it does hurt, but at the same time I'm like, well, no, because they're looking at all the information. And see, it's such a convoluted way of trying to process a lot of things at once. And I think like the more of you that become creators, I think you're probably already experiencing it or you will, but there is this fine line of like, okay, I need to try to be more serious if I want to get my point across. But at the same time, I'm human and I came into this space because it was this welcoming community initially. And it still is in large part. It's just that you get hyper focused on the stuff that's bad. Because, the brain, humans are wired that way. Um, yeah. The Dunkin' Donuts. Yes, please sub to Dieter too, guys. Dieter, I love you. Dieter has the cutest kitty named Smudgy. And she's a sweet kitty. She's a sweet, nice kitty that doesn't yell at people at 4 in the morning for like 30 minutes straight. And he just got fed too. He just got fed. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, basically I wanted to come on and pick people's brains about what you guys think. Like, why are people, what's the impetus behind somebody going and looking for, well, doing a print job, a one-on-one print job on Rick Allen in late October 2019? And if we want to add like further weirdness, we look at like the people that are posting their POIs, initials of their POIs on like Facebook groups. And somebody is putting RA's initials in a January 2020 Facebook group. And then the next month, there's several 4chan posts that show up naming a Richard as a suspect for the Delphi murders. And then in the month after that, in March, There is an edit to the Delphi murders Wikipedia page, also listing a Richard as a suspect. And of course, we know that COVID shuts down the whole country by mid-March. I think it's like literally on my birthday or something. The whole country just shuts down mid to late March. And then not much happens, you know? Like I think Jalen Rain was putting out her exposés on Fouts and like the Lafayette Club, so to speak, in late January 2020 and then in early March 2020. So that's getting out there, but after that, nothing really happens until the 31st of July 2020 is when Curtis Fouts resigns. And it's another 31st. Again, just because we can see numbers, okay? Don't come for me. But again, it's at the end of the month too, so that could be why. But that's 2020, and then I think it's the 19th or 20th of August 2020, Keegan Kline is arrested for the CSAM. And it's 3.5 years later. It's 3.5 years later after he's getting talked to by the FBI, ISP, and Peru PD about talking with Libby and having CSAM. What could take that long? It's like, what could honestly take that long? If you are looking at a guy that was possibly talking with one of the victims of a really heinous double murder, right? Like days or the day of that she is murdered, they are murdered. Why are you not like expediting looking at his devices? Riddle me that. Like, I'm a flipping artist, guys. Hi, Becky. Hi, I thought you were a mod too. Damn. Oh, 26. Do you want, yes, please, everybody post your, if you have a channel, please post it. And everybody, please go subscribe. Even just leave and come back because I'm just going to be trying to remember what I'm talking about. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah. Like, why aren't you expediting looking at his digital devices, right? They clearly think it's a digital crime. They think it's a digital crime as early as the 17th of March, 2017, because they're going in, looking at Ron Logan's stuff and looking for all of his digital devices, anything that could record things, you know? Didn't the girl on the We Are All Insane Here podcast have a party grape story? Oh, Jesus, I hope not. See, this is the thing. Like, this is why you have to take breaks, dude. You just have to, because it's the child predation angle. It's so flipping frustrating, you know? So they already know what's on them, right? So see, this is why when people are like, oh, you're so like suspicious and paranoid and stuff, and it's like, how do I express to you how obvious it is to go and do these simple things so that we wouldn't get suspicious of you guys? Now, again, this could be definitely a cover your ass situation with a group dynamic, right? Oh, I thought you weren't supposed to be in charge of that. No, you were supposed to be in charge of that. Oh, well, if I'm going to get him in trouble, I don't want to get him in trouble. You know, it could be one of those. Hi, Lena. Hi, Carol. Hi. I'm doing well. I'm just yapping as usual. Just yapping. But we were talking about... Oh, Oh yeah, don't if you don't want us to suspect you, don't be suspicious. It's pretty easy, right? It's pretty easy. Heavy metal. Like you're always like, duh. I mean, duh. Can Prof get the sound thing that's like durr or duh? Um, um, yeah, ACV does need a channel, and so do you, Skip. Skip, do you have a channel? Because if you have a channel, you need to drop it in the thing, and then everybody needs to go subscribe to him. Because again, it's gonna take the village to just educate me on what you guys know. And Skip, I love you to pieces. You're smart as fuck, but I sometimes don't know what you're talking about. You know, like Homer Simpson. Yeah, we need that one. We need that one. Duh, duh. It's like the bruh, you know. But I can't do the singing one. Oh my god, I don't have a singing voice. So yeah, basically right now, hyper fixated on what happened with the digital evidence. Because I think something happened with the digital evidence. I think you should have had Keegan Klein's digital evidence figured the F out, at least by 2019. I think there was something going on behind the scenes in 2018 between Unified Command and the parties that could help them with digital shit. I'm trying to think what else. And then what? Okay, let me walk you through this. Let me show you. I think it's reasonable to have questions about this. We know that people were doing like the Delphi witch hunts pretty much probably right after the murders, right? Because, you get the bridge guy still clip released or whatever, and eventually they do the little walking thing or whatever of him, and the sketches. And, ooh, when there's uncertainty, people will do a lot to try to fill that dis-ease, the malaise of it, the not good feelings. So they will go out of their way to try to make sense of it, and they will, start comparing every man that ever walked the earth in that locale to whatever they can, and that does happen. And then you get people that are like, they have Facebook groups, and they're posting their persons of interest. A lot of people are looking at a lot of people, right? Then you have people on 4chan dropping hints, but it's always towards, something that looks like it's pointed at Richard Allen. So it's kind of like, where else does my mind go? Where else can it go besides it really looking like, for whatever reason, they decided to go with Richard Allen? And, the more my AI psychosis triggers me compulsively to look at ChatGPT and talk to it, the more I learn. And that's me trying to be funny about it. ChatGPT did say, here we go, clip it, bitches, clip it. clip it. ChatGPT did say that you would want an ordinary guy. You would want an ordinary guy. And let me see, you know what? Let me pull it up. And then I eventually need to go pick up my folks. Go to dinner. Din. AI say, yeah, no, that's been lobbied against me, Becky. Oh, do you want a wrench? By the way, I thought I gave you a wrench. I'm so big bad. By the way, I need to do the dishes. I need to do the dishes too, Deb. Nah, add as a moderator. Punch you in the health club too. Yay. Yay. It's a sea of blue. It's a blue sea. Yeah. Let's AI psychose this bitch up, for lack of a better word. I've totally given up on not swearing so much. Sleep. Everything is about the stupid microphone. If anybody knows how to set up a microphone, let me know. Oh my god. And computer shit. Alright, well, it's not here. That I'm not gonna find it really. Let me see. Open. Not there. Not there. Framing Rick Allen. Theory. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, so here's some good talking points, right? Yeah, and what Christina said. Christina'sTheBomb.com. Guys, if you haven't watched everything that she's put out, you're missing out. If you're not subscribed, I don't know what to tell you. I can't emphasize that enough. It needed to happen yesterday. Okay, no, it's not that. That's not the one I want. I want, yeah, theory. Okay. And Kelly could probably do a way better job than, but this is just what ChatGPT was saying. Okay, so framing someone isn't usually about picking the most convincing bad guy. Okay, that's something that I never would have guessed. So most commonly, frame jobs happen because the system needs an endpoint. Railroading or boxing an individual into a bad investigation is a means of mitigating damage, not because they found the perfect villain, but because they needed the scapegoat, right? So the system, by the system, I'm talking about law enforcement, prosecutors, courts, political pressure, public opinion, media, and institutional self-protection, right? We've had Court of Public Opinion saying for a long time that it's the Fraternal Order of Police. The FOP was a big aspect in Northern Kentucky with Brad Blankenship and corruption and some pretty gnarly shit, right? What he was talking about. So the system, like Kelly will be able to tell you, it's generally a machine made of people, incentives, deadlines, and a fear of failure, right? So the core takeaway is that systems don't primarily seek truth. They seek stability, all right? Truth is nice if it leads to stability, but if it doesn't, it often becomes optional. So the main objective is and will always be stability at all costs, regardless of truth. Yay. Okay, hold on. Let me get that up. All messages. There we go. Okay, so if we think about the pressure that's around DELPHI, there's, you know, massive public attention, kids brutalized as victims, years with no arrest, law enforcement saying we're close over and over while appearing to be bungling the investigation, and online chaos getting worse, not better. So at some point, the problem isn't who did this, it's that the case itself is a liability now. Yeah, I agree with you, Christina, wholeheartedly. And please, again, subscribe to Christina, subscribe to Kelly. All of you guys are wonderful. Please leave links in the chat. If you need to leave and go subscribe to remember, go do it. Come back. Where am I? So scrutiny, right? The scrutiny that we were all doing on this case, it invites people to look at mistakes, and mistakes invite questions that nobody wants asked, right? EOA too. Please subscribe to Eye of Apophis. So why does a system need an endpoint? Why frame anyone? Because open systems bleed. So an unresolved high-profile case does real damage over time. It signals incompetence, it erodes public trust, it invites scrutiny, it creates political risk, and it never stops generating new demands. So an open case is like an exposed nerve. Every year that passes without resolution, budgets get questioned, careers stall, agencies get audited, and past mistakes resurface. So from a systems perspective, an unresolved case is worse than a resolved but flawed one. And, that's organizational reality, right? If my child had DNA in private areas, I would want to know too. I would, yeah. And again, it's a bad look. It's a bad look, but for the families, J Rabbit, because, I would want to know that too. It's a very, yeah. But could there, we don't know the whole story. I think grace should be given until everything's able to come out. The only thing that I really hate about this is that, let's just speculate and say that like the families were under duress because they were afraid of getting some sort of further harm done to them. Okay. In the process of covering up whatever it is that they potentially speculatively helped cover up, a lot of harm was done to a lot of people. And if you guys don't believe me, go subscribe to Silky Southern Tea, because she and Prof do an excellent job on the DELPHI body count. And while I don't think all of those deaths and murders are necessarily linked, I think they need to be investigated. I think so much malpractice and misconduct has been done on this case that everything is up for question now. It's like that, I want to say it was like maybe 10 years back, maybe more now, but they uncovered that there were some dirty detectives in Chicago. And all those cases that those guys investigated, the detectives, had to be relooked at, and a lot of people went free. So, hi, Rebecca. A lot of people were murdered. Yeah. So, again, I'm not claiming I know any of that for certain, but I think it's worth looking at and being suspicious of. Like, why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't any of us? Hi, Rebecca. Oh, go subscribe to Rebecca. Rebecca has an awesome channel too. If you want to put your link in there too, please, people, go subscribe. So ultimately, for the system to survive as it is, right? You need a suspect. A suspect. Here, let me get rid of this. Pull this back up. A suspect, a narrative, a timeline, and a courtroom ending, right? You need it tied up in a neat little bow so that, you know, oh, that was handled. It was looked at. That was already looked at. Yeah, it's gone now. Thank goodness. Right? Um, yeah, yeah. Especially now that they have their guy. There's absolutely no reason. And I understand the leaking of Discovery. I do, if you are genuinely outraged and it can no longer potentially hurt a man's due process, right? I think at that point you might become a whistleblower even, but you got to wait for the appeals to get over and done with. And maybe that was what some of the impetus was to push so hard to, be the guys that did the PCR and be like basically the attorneys, the appellate attorneys. Although I think they were going to plan on working with them, but they weren't beholden to them. It's all very not great looking, right? When you really think about it. So, anyway, um, so the end point is you have everything tied up into a neat little bow. And once you have that, the machine says, we did our job. The public can be assured that justice has been served. And most importantly, especially regarding Delphi, the investigation is finally put to bed. Easy peasy. So, why frame anyone at all? So, and it, like, contrary to where I was coming from, it doesn't start off as like, let's go ruin this person, you know? Not necessarily. It often starts as, we're stuck. Here, let me get rid of this. We're stuck. We need something. This is going nowhere, and we can't keep saying we have nothing, right? So there's this desperation. It's the animal backed into the corner kind of thing, right? So then the system begins working backward instead of forward. So instead of who did this, it becomes who can plausibly carry this ending. And that's like when Alex was around, that was part of contingency plan, with Kathy Shank, getting Alan ready to go, basically like on deck. Like, I don't know if you guys ever did track, but they would always like somebody in the hole, somebody on deck kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. And Kelly, interestingly, like Carter, so there's an OIG report that comes out that's damning against Abbott, and it's the Office of Internal, or not internal, like the Investigator General, or it has to do with the Attorney General's office investigating law enforcement, basically. So there's this OIG report that's put out, I want to say 14th of July, 2021. It's a week after Ferenczi is murdered, so the 14th. And it's damning against Abbott. And Abbott is he's covering the CYA, covering the ass of a lot of law enforcement because they're slow to look into Nassar. And they're protecting a lot of the guys that are slow to look into Nassar, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think Carter uses that, even though Abbott is long retired. He retired at the end of January 2018. This is already in 2021. But in August 2021, late August, Carter formally kicks the FBI off the case. Very interesting, right? So, And there's an election coming up. But see, the thing is, heavy metal rehab, there's the thing that's confusing for me is that when Kathy Shank prints off the 2019, the October 2019 one of one print job of Rick Allen that's cleared, that's not before the election. The election's 2022, unless it got pushed back because of COVID, in which case then it would still make sense, yeah. But yeah, anyway, let me just finish this because is anybody following anything? I really apologize. I'm sorry. So right, the system works backwards. It starts to retrofit everything. And instead of who did this, it becomes like who can plausibly carry this ending. Hence, contingency plan. When Alex was around, that was something we talked about quite a bit. So that's the pivot point. And then it's like, well, okay, so if you need somebody to frame more or less, or to find somebody convenient, why go for the ordinary guy? Why frame someone specifically like Rick Allen? And it's because he has no big connections, no sketchy reputation, no obvious motive. So it becomes this uncomfortable paradox of like, that Rick Allen is safe. He's the least obvious suspect. And that's usually the safest endpoint. But they had absolutely nothing to connect him, Hi, Big GT. Hi. Hi, Matt. Hi, people that came in that I didn't see. If you came in and I didn't see you, and I'm sorry. And please leave links to your channels. The thing it means was that okay. Let me see. So Alan becomes as the ordinary guy. Alan becomes the safest endpoint. He has no priors, right? So there's fewer competing narratives. The average guy with no priors, like he doesn't have powerful friends. And like if you dissect or like dig into him, you're not going to pull any new threads, like if you tug on them. And then so just that ordinary guy, he's not going to have any agencies or scandals or like know people in high places, and it won't blow the case wide open, right? So whereas somebody with a criminal history, and they actually look more suspicious, tends to have old enemies, past investigations, connections to other alternative suspects, and involvement of other jurisdictions. So, that was really a problem with Unified Command. They like the FBI was kind of like they were kind of the Debbie Downers of the group. No offense to Debbies. They were the the sad Sallys. They kind of brought down the vibe because it was like, oh, we have to be accountable. But again, like 3.5 years for Keegan Kline, who talked with one of the girls that ended up murdered, that has CSAM on his phone. You can't expedite that? Like, what? Anyway, right. So, if you did this, because I was like, you have Gabe Ellis, you have Garrett Kurtz, you have Ron Logan, you have, I think, Chadwell later, right? But you have all those guys. You have like, I guess Holder hadn't really done anything. You have a lot of guys. You have those guys. Let's start with those guys. You have those guys, and you have Keegan Kline. So it's like you have all these criminals. Why not? I'm always like, why don't you just do a criminal? Frame a criminal already. But it's like the criminals are messy. They come with baggage, other crimes, other victims, other jurisdictions, other failures, and suddenly the story isn't simple anymore. Whereas someone with no priors has a clean data trail. Where's that data trail, by the way? We need that data trail. No known associates to complicate things, and no pattern of demands that like no pattern that demands explanation. So ironically, this makes them easier to transform into a hidden monster. Nobody saw it coming. He was so ordinary. Because that's what they said about flipping Bundy, you know? Like, how many times have you've heard the serial killer? Oh, he seems so normal and nice, and I could never imagine, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, look at how they tried to transform Rick Allen into that. So, no links or knowledge to other corruption not available. Choose anyone and then silence your choice. And I do think that I think Prof is right that it never intended to go to trial, right? And I think a lot of you are right that if they didn't mess him up royally with Haldol and psychosis shit, they maybe would have gonzoed him, like, and at that point, like, what the fuck? But there were so many eyes on it, right? There were so many eyes on it, which was good. There was at least that. And it would have looked bad, right? Like everybody was holding their breath about Westville. They're like, oh, he's gonna get killed any day now, right? So it's a miracle. It's literally a miracle that we are where we are, and that he's in Oklahoma. Thank God. So basically, the ordinary man narrative is powerful because culturally we're primed for you never really know someone, monsters look normal, he blended in. The story writes itself, and it doesn't require gang connections, criminal networks, or complex motives. Hence, lone wolf. Lone wolf narrative. You got lone wolf, Keegan Kline, all by himself, just creating drop boxes for himself, and putting CP on burner phones for phantoms, and he's a lone wolf, and Richard Allen's a lone wolf, and there's a bunch of lone wolves, lone wolves. So, yeah, simple stories stabilize systems because it's already going to get pretty hairy and complicated. And I do think that's why you see all the 213s, right? It needed to be something that was easy to remember, right? That, to me, that's plausible. Like, if it's not ritualistic, right? Because, like, the only way we can know it's ritualistic is if we apprehend the actual perpetrator or traitors, and then we question them and they tell us the truth, right? That's that's the only way you're gonna know that. So if it's not ritualistic, then the next best thing for doing all of that symbolic shit is to remember shit, right? Keep it simple, stupid. I mean, that's my life motto. So, and ordinary people cannot easily fight the system. So it's good to have a peon, somebody that's a husband and a father that works at CVS, because, they don't know how to push back. He doesn't have resources or powerful friends, social capital. And they kept it so quiet. Like, that stupid PCA didn't come out till February. And I think they formally arrested him on the 28th. I think he was arrested on the 26th, but like they formally arrested him on the I forget now. I'm probably getting confused. Yeah. Insistent. Yep. 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 Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But So, you know, plus, and this is getting very into the weeds now. And I did go down this rabbit hole, and I just don't want to like broach it until maybe more evidence comes out. But Alex was always interested in looking at the MK nurse situation because, like, Walla does have weird MK vibes. She's got that crazy look in her eye, you know. Hi, Daisy. Please subscribe to Daisy Ask People. Daisy, we've been talking about your excellent work. And I would love to hear your theories someday on like what was going down in 2018, 2019 as far as digital evidence goes. But yeah, let me finish this thought real quick. But please, yeah, please subscribe. I know, Christina. I hope you put that out. I'm probably gonna include that in the Who Framed Rick Allen thing because like, oh, and just where certain people were at certain times on this case is a little like, oof, ooh, damn, that's rough, you know, like, ooh. But again, you know, we don't know anything for sure. So, oh, we love you, Daisy. Yes, please go subscribe and like and do all of the things. And please put your everybody everybody that's got a channel, put the link to your channel in right now so people can go and subscribe and then come back. But yeah, basically like Amy was talking about, because Amy is a trained, you know, mental health therapist, psychologist. Rick Allen is already a person that would be very unlikely to do these types of crimes. Plus, he's a very malleable, like a very easily impressed upon, like he's impressionable and non-conflict oriented. So he was going to be very good if they wanted to get a coerced confession out of him, right? So you have that. A private, unassuming person is less likely to create immediate backlash, or mobilize powerful allies, or disrupt the narrative early on, right? It took them so long to get out that PCA, which was weird. And the PCA had huge problems with it. And the first time I started like really looking at other YouTube content creators questionably was when they were like, that PCA is really well done. That was a really well thought out PCA. I'm like, how so? Especially like guys that were like in law enforcement formerly. It's like, really? Really? You think that was well done? All right, okay, well, you must know. Um, mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I wish Alex was around still because, like, this shit would be hilarious. It would just be fucking hilarious. But yeah. And Daisy's right. Daisy looks at the evidence. If you want the evidence, you go to Daisy. Okay? So, oh yeah. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Why is Alex not around? He's smart. He's you know, he's not doing all the drama, all the bullshit, all the time. He was smart. That's why, like, it's really helped me psychologically to see so many other people, like all of you guys, having channels, coming out and talking about things. And yes, I know, like, you're exposing yourself to harassment and nasty shit, but it's helped me feel less alone. we're not doing that today. It's helped keep me strong for sure. So, and it just feels good to have the backup, you know, especially because like it's intimidating when you don't know so much. Like I still don't know a lot, right? So to have other people that specialize in things, that are willing to look at stuff that I consider boring, that are just flipping badass, like I really appreciate you guys. And I want all of you to grow, like to a point where like that there's more of us that are good faith trying to do the best job we can. Um, Not perfect, but when we're not perfect, coming out and saying, "Hey, yeah, I screwed that up." Because it's not about like being the first one to be right and to be the first one with the scoop or to be like the all authoritative, guru on it. It's about getting to the truth. And sometimes you have to play around with ideas before you get to something substantial. Um, you're good, Moonbeam. I know, Christina. Christina, you're like my twin. But you're my smarter twin. Because, like, Christina's just badass. She just finds shit. And she's like, oh, here's how it all makes sense in a very compelling, comprehensive way. So, yeah, it does suck to feel things very intensely. Like, I know people think Prof is like pretty hardcore, but like when I get angry, I'm like, I mean, he's like, you want to go sit in the corner, calm down a little bit, just take a chill pill, um, sleep it off, walk it off, do something, you know. So, oh, Smudgy, Smudgy, yeah, we love Smudgy. She's a good kitty. She's a little sweet pie. But and Daisy has really cute aminals too. So empaths get angry. Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's why like I blame everything on my Ariesness, but no, it's always been that way. It's always been that way. So, but see, the people that really care, that are here in good faith, like they'll still push through it, because like even when you get something wrong, like as long as you fix it and it's not like, you're not like jeopardizing somebody um, in any sort of way, only your own reputation. But like the people that are good faith are going to see that you're good faith. They're going to know. So, I mean, oh, yeah, heavy metal. I feel like you're my older, cooler, angrier sister. And you're not older, but like just like the cool sister that I looked up to, that would have been able to do cool shit before I could like drive. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's not always a bad thing. Well, when you see red and you're like smashing things. I don't smash things anymore. I've gotten way better about that. Um, but yeah, my parents remember that. They were like, "Oh, she was hard to deal with." Um, but yeah, like this kind of stuff is bad for your mental health. It really is. Like getting harassed and then, having to think about PDF files and trying to figure them out and shit, and like dicking around trying to make um comprehensive presentations that make sense, that also aren't like compromising you legally or like ethically or safety wise. um you know all of that is already so overwhelming on top of all of the other, the amount of information, the type of information. Hi, Happy. Hello. as unrestrained. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not unrestrained. And like, see, that's the thing. Like, I think, I think a lot of people didn't have the support back when this case first got onto the internet, because I think everybody was like, I'm going to solve it. I'm going to get the reward money. I'm going to get my name out there. I'm going to write the book. I'm going to, all of that kind of stuff. And so there really wasn't this cohesive coming together. Um, but, you know, now that there's no, those incentives are gone, because, the truth is what matters. And I don't even know what it's like, but it's definitely a puzzle, and it's definitely plugging something in, testing it rigorously, and then seeing that it goes nowhere, and then looking for the next thing to plug in and testing it rigorously and seeing if it goes, so that's kind of what investigative work is, and you can't speculate too much, at least not publicly, but you have to remain flexible enough. And that was something that I learned from Alex. It was very much like, you have to remain flexible enough to consider different things and plug them in. You can't just be stuck on one path. So right now, what I need is like some inspiration to plug into that time period that we were talking about earlier. Um, and I really do think it's what Amy has been kind of implying and considering herself, the evidence about the digital evidence. Something is happening with the digital evidence, and it definitely is probably exculpatory, meaning like it would make Rick Allen innocent if we had it and we looked at it and it was presented in court and stuff. Um, and I don't know why it wasn't. And, you know, you're going to use in the trial has been released. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've never liked puzzles. I've never liked puzzles. I've never liked games. I don't like things that are like, puzzles are better than games. Games irritate me because I'm like, oh, life is already a game. I already have to pay taxes and shit and figure out shit and do math and stuff that's like important. So, but I'm glad other people like it, because I need you people in my life. That's why I'm here yapping. I need see, groupthink gets treated as a bad thing, but I do need like inspiration from the outside world to come and be like, oh, you silly thing, did you consider this? And for me to be like, no, but that's pretty flipping genius. That happens to me a lot, you know? Yeah. I like puzzles as long as they like, you can make them into book nooks. Those are fun. Game perfection, anxiety attack. Yeah. Oh, I think a lot of us have adult ADHD. Yeah. Yeah. I think all of us do, actually. I think we're all neurodivergent now. I think onlineness, um, and immediate like responses has made us has changed our minds, like rewired our minds. It's not groupthink, that's collaboration. Collaboration's a better word. There we go. Collaboration. I like that. Collaboration is what we need. I hate the game Payday. Like, who makes such a game? Or the game of life? Oh my god. I was like, what? Because, like, even as a kid, you're like, I know I'm going to grow up and have to deal with this shit. So like, why is this fun now? Um, yeah, pretty lame. Pretty lame. And I never liked Monopoly. Cause like another thing too, I I I am competitive too. So that's but yeah, again, closed systems. You can't like you can't move outside of a closed system. Games are games. And if they get too irritating, then you just have to like flip the table and throw it on the ground. Like how do you like that game? Hmm. Yes. How do you like that game? That's good. See, that's why I need you guys. I'm glad you all like games and puzzles because I hate them. Like this is boring, man. If I wanted to like be stuck doing rules, I would be at like Catholic school or something. Well, you didn't genuflect correctly. Now you're going to hell. No, I exaggerate. I exaggerate. It's Scrabble addiction. Yeah. Mm, was there a game I ever liked to play? I like Cards Against Humanity because it's hilarious. Yeah, I like those card games like where you have to do that or drink. Or like there's a sriracha game. It's basically like I forget the name of it, but where you have to slap if you get a pear or if you get a sandwich. And that I like those kind of games. Especially as you get more intoxicated because then it's like, it's just it's fun. I don't know. It's social. Okay. Don't judge me. Yeah. Yeah. I never liked chess either because it was like, oh my god, I only have the attention span of like a duck. Quack, 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 quack. So it's like, walk away, walk away, walk away. Collaborate and listen. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Hell yeah. Dieter, I love you. Oh, hi, Jer. Hi. Welcome. Yeah, how long have we been hanging? Oh, 2 hours. Damn. Okay, well that flew by, man. Um, I have to go pick up my parents soon. We're gonna barbecue. The barbecue. Hold in a tournament. Ooh, damn, you were good, heavy metal. Ice, ice, baby. Yeah. Collaborate and I love you, Dieter. All right, stop. We're gonna have to come up with like a whole Delphi song for that. Yeah. But yeah, basically like if you guys go back to the beginning, you'll know. Hopefully, I've articulated what it was that I'm stuck on because I'm still not sure I even know what I'm trying to articulate. I think I think it's very curious that they did print out the one of one cleared lead Amy found. And I think it's weird that they probably did do that to go look at like the geofencing, pings, GPS, all that stuff, the digital footprint, so to speak. And then why wasn't it included in a trial? Aw, thanks. Thanks, Daisy. I try. Most of the time I'm just an angry cat though. And Vanilla Ice. There's a Jim Carrey parody of that, I think. You should look it up of Jim Carrey doing Vanilla Ice. It's super funny. It's pretty good. Um oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. Like why weren't any other tips printed off one of one that could have, led to looking at, double checking digital forensic evidence. Um why were people like posting his initials? Why was Richard circulating on like 4chan and the edits to Wikipedia? Why were people dropping weird Easter eggs in like the review section for The Shack on IMDb? Why were people making Roblox? Like, all of that stuff. It lends to more of a I don't think we're going to know the motivations necessarily, but it shows some aspect of coordination, in my opinion. Or fuckery, but like the fuckery is still coordination, let's be honest. Pinged if they didn't. Yeah, thank you, Daisy. God, I love you. Flippin' love you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's suspicious, right? Especially when you put it all together. And then you have the person that put the RA initials in the Delphi Facebook group saying, oh, in fact, I did mean those initials to be Richard Allen. They're saying that like a week after he's formally arrested. There's somebody coming out with certainty that, oh, he didn't do it though. The day that they learn of his arrest. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's why I need people that like puzzles. Because I like to sit here and kind of move ideas around and then look at the systems behind them and try to see patterns that way, which is good for keeping an open mind, but then you have to like dig into the details. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. I'm really glad that the appellate attorneys were allowed to do the excellent briefs that they did. I'm glad that things worked out the way they did. Like, we have a lot to be grateful for Kathy Allen holding out against some of the pressure that she was receiving. Because like all it takes, and I recently went over and re-looked at it, but the contract that she was, that they were wanting her to sign would have given them access to Rick, would have given them access to all discovery, and then would have made them non-beholden to Lehman and Uliana, which is weird. I think the wording is that like they would be independent of, but it's like you would want to be on the same page as the appellate attorneys, So, and it was just kind of a weird way to go about it, like saying that they wanted to do the Hatton or the Davis-Hatton procedure, like the success rate for appeals in Indiana is somewhere between like 10 and 15%. But like, there's not even statistics to show what the Davis-Hatton procedure would do, because like 0.2% of them are even accepted or allowed to go through. And then because so many courts seal that information, you don't even know what the success rate is. So it's like if they had put all their time and energy into that, which then, they pivoted and said they weren't going to do that, but they started off with really wanting to do that, which is just weird. It's just weird, okay? And it's like, I don't, I think it warrants the people that have questions about it and think that it's weird. I think that it warrants patience and grace with us to explain it as to why it would be a good idea. But to me, it looked like an ego flex, you know, a way to be the big shot and to be like, oh, I used a very weird and random procedure, assuming they had gone through with using it. And then putting this like undue pressure of like, we got to get it done before they destroy evidence, before they do this. There was always this like urgency, this rush. And it's like, you should never be rushed into doing anything. And then to be talked down to about like, Kathy is Rick Allen's power of attorney, right? So it's like basically saying that she doesn't have the right to be his power of attorney, or implying it because she's not capable of understanding, or she's a victim too and she's traumatized and all this stuff is like, well, first of all, like, you've never talked to her, you've never interacted with her, not in any meaningful way, to the people that were talking about her poorly. And then to have like months of campaigns of hate because, yeah, I asked those questions and I didn't ask them perfectly. I got pissy. And, that's on me. But I see how patient somebody like Amy G is, how good faith she is, and they still hit below the belt and take her out of context and put words in her mouth and lie about her work. And so to me, it's like, well, we were always going to be enemies. The people that are, upset about things, we were always going to be adversaries. So it's like, I think I've earned the right to be pissy. I love you, heavy metal. I wish I was as cool as you, though. Oh, you want a wrench? Okay. Yep. Hold on. Oh, I can do this, and I can look so badass by doing this. Look at how good I am at like. I'm technically savvy. Yes. Aw. Yeah, I like craft making too. Do you want one, Moonbeam? Just don't expect me to always be awake. You better be, otherwise you're not allowed. No, I'm like half asleep. I usually pass out by the end of prof's stuff because I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna sit here and close my eyes, and then all of a sudden it's like waking up with drool on my face. You know how it goes. So yeah, let me see. Oh, Jim Carrey, yeah, doing Vanilla Ice. So, but yeah, so that was my super unorganized. Do you guys see why I do presentations now? Do you see why I do? I do presentations now instead of lives so much because it gets me in trouble, first of all. Let's be real. But oh, hi Nancy Drew. Hi. Yay. Welcome. But I'm able to like articulate things better when I do presentations. And yeah, luckily I just ban people that piss me off now. Like, if you make a genuinely good argument, like, how about this? How about this? For as much as HCC has doxed me and like sexually degraded me and like made threats against me, like I'm gonna come fucking get you, or you better fucking hide, or whatever. Who's besties? He's besties with Angie, by the way, with R&M Productions. Totally sanctioned. But anyway, he was still right about the stupid oh my god, what was it? mydeathspace.com thing. He was still right about that. I mean, I had to correct that, so I'll give people that grace, if there's actual facts and that deserve to be corrected, then yeah, I'll give you that. But if you're coming in to just be a shit, I'm gonna ban you. I'm gonna ban you so flippin' fast. That's why, like, all these alt accounts, I'm like, ooh, we get another round. I can say something snarky and then ban you. It's so fun. It's like whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole. Whack. Yay. Yeah, I think he still does, Daisy. I think he still does. Yeah, and his female henchman was gonna do one too, but I saw she took it down. Was smart. Yeah, I would delete Twitter. Twitter sucks. It sucks balls. I don't know how to delete Twitter. I thought I did delete Twitter. See, that was back in the day when I had a man to help me with that, because my feeble female mind, like, I just don't have the attention span for Twitter. Sorry, I just don't. But it was helpful when guys could just be like, "Oh, do this, do, and then you're protected. You're good to go. Good to go." So, yeah, they do make it hard to delete. Same with Discord. You have to like wait 2 weeks or something. Something really dumb like that. But yeah, did you guys hear about the Signal thing? Getting I thought Signal was encrypted. Not that I'm using it to like talk to people illegally or whatever, but I thought it was solidly encrypted. What's a Twitter? It's called X now, Jer. I don't know if you know. It's called X. Oh, I know everybody has their reasons for disliking Elon Musk, and it's primarily political, but like, when I saw him go on Joe Rogan and say that Nikola Tesla was dumb, or that he wasn't even that smart or something, I was like, you're dumb. And that he's forever been he doesn't know it, but we're adversaries. So, although I would love a Tesla car. I would be able to use the HOV lane. But it's not like I go anywhere when it's bad traffic out anyway, so. Yeah. That's right. Yes. Schlepp has been covering that, Carla Ann. Yeah. Oh shit. Sorry. And Chris Hansen just interviewed the boy's mom. So, yeah, I don't know if you guys follow Schlepp on YouTube. It's SCH. I think it's SCHLEP, Schlepp. And he was he's a young man now, but he had been playing on Roblox for a long time, like since he was like a teenager or even younger. And he got groomed and possibly worse on Roblox. So he became kind of like a guy that did sting operations on PDF files on Roblox. And then Roblox, over the summer, they were a bunch of dickheads. And they they like banned him, and they were like, oh, you can't be doing that, blah, blah, blah. So then it erupted, and like China banned Roblox, Louisiana sued Roblox, like all this stuff, like their stocks tanked and stuff. And now this young kid has gone missing, this younger boy. I'm not sure how old he is. He looks preteen maybe. And he was meeting somebody. He was going to meet up with somebody on Roblox. Hi, Rock Crusher. Hello. So it's not safe, you know. That's where. So there's a big thing in child predation. And there's a ton of podcasts you can watch. I mean, I don't recommend watching a lot of them because it's just going to ruin your day. But they get kids from popular kids apps and platforms and stuff, and they get them onto other platforms. So, you know, I still don't know how I feel about digital ID. I'm still really I haven't even begun to like fully think about this, but I think like for kids, if it keeps them safe and it's effective, then yeah, okay. But prove that to me and prove that you won't overstep it also. But if it keeps kids safe, okay. So, yeah, they had a net loss of, 257 billion. Really? 257? That's insane. That's like, I can't even imagine. So, enslave us more. It might. I just don't know, man. I just don't know. You know, Arizona banned porn too. I think we're one of the states that banned like porn. No, she's been around, J Rabbit. She was on Peggy's. So, yeah. Okay, yeah. Still $250 million, you know, over just not harassing somebody that was helping them on their platform. It's pretty easy. You know, it's like people are like, oh, you know, the people that do all the contrary narrative stuff are like, you bullied all these other people back, and that's why they're bullying you. And it's like, no, you guys came out, made yourselves look bad. Then we asked questions and, you know, tried to get some answers, and then you harassed us. That's what happened. So, I know, heavy metal. I know. It's tricky because, like, I'm a huge Snowden fan, and I just don't know anymore. It's something that I would like have to really sit down and listen to, and even then, I don't know, because it's like I don't have a kid. If I had a kid, I think I would be more apt to be like, yeah, you can't. You have to wait. But again, that should be up to the parents too. But it's so tricky because like even back in 2017, didn't Abby have a phone? She wasn't allowed to have a phone. Didn't she have a phone? Like, it's just crazy. So, better believe, like, kids are gonna be having phones no matter what. Somehow. Maybe there's like a black market for kids' phones. So, mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they can always take the shoes off too, J Rabbit. Reminds me of the. See, this is why I don't like true crime. But it reminds me of the woman. She was a teacher. I think it was either Kentucky or Tennessee, or I think maybe it was Tennessee. She went running. She went for a morning run very early in the morning. A guy snatched her off the streets. He snatched her so hard her shoes flew off. And they found her like a couple days later, dead. Got her first phone at 8. You were so pissed? Yeah. Yeah. And like, you see what, I mean, it's just anecdotal right now that like I've seen, but you know how they like are showing all the harms and the effects of digital media with kids? Like you see the little toddlers literally like banging their head against like sofas because they're like overstimulated or not stimulated enough. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So, yeah. But yeah, if anybody has any ideas on like what possibly went down around that time, 2018, 2019, what do you guys think happened with the digital evidence? Was there a cat fight? Was there a cat fight between Unified Command and the FBI? Was the FBI just a bunch of dumbasses when they had they knew what Keegan Klein was getting up to, but it took them 3.5 years to get around to it. Like, don't investigate so poorly that we then suspect you of investigating poorly on purpose. It's the bare minimum, right? Oh, hi, Kel. Hi. Yay. Hi, Kel. I'm just about ready to get off because I gotta go pick up my parents. Then we're gonna go barbecue. Barbecue. Um, yeah. Dude, see, that's the thing. That's one of the reasons why. Well, my grandma was like, "Did you hear about the German girl that got murdered?" And I was like, "A girl in Germany? What happened?" Um, but when I learned that they were out in the woods, just like, and again, that was the fairy tale story that gets told. But when they were out in the woods, playing in the woods, I'm like, dude, that was some of the best times. Like we would make little teepees with sticks and shit. It was so much fun, man. Like if I ever find some of those photos, maybe I'll post them on my dark arts channel because like it was fun. And then like the wildlife, the deer, the demonic thing that was like probably a turkey vulture, but it sounded like a dying pig. I don't know. Um, some creepy experiences in the woods, but a lot of fun in the woods, at least during the daytime. So it was just a place of adventure. Um, yeah. And the more I think about Kelsey, like I do find it very suspicious that there's her hair wrapped around Abby's fingers. I do think there's discrepancy with like the clothing and like the timeline of when they were saying they were out and about and all that kind of stuff. But like I really sat down and thought about it. If I was 17 years old and my baby sister had just been found murdered and I was going through her phone and there was potentially like very graphic images of her allegedly, speculatively, I think I would have deleted them too. Not because like I was being malicious, but because I was trying to protect her. So, but again, I don't know if that's really what happened. I don't know. I just try to put myself in people's shoes and understand, like, try to understand maybe what another side would look like. But, like, her hair around Abby's fingers, weird. Um, I don't know. I feel like you don't go to the lengths that law enforcement has gone to and that influencers and supporters and people who end up becoming the bad actors, like, you don't go to those kind of lengths because you're trying to cover up something simple. You know? Now it could be the trickle down effect of one thing leads to another. You found out your boss had to cover his ass because he was fucking around doing something he shouldn't have been doing, or just being negligent or something. So now you have to cover his ass. And it's just a trickle down of like, cover your ass. But I do think there's like, I don't think this is just a perfect, like, oh, everybody fucked up at the same time. And it's all innocent fuck ups. No, I think there's some coordination there. There has to be. Like, statistically, not that we could like really measure that unless he did like that. What is that? The Bayesian thing? Just learned what that is. Yeah, still unknown female, male, and DNA. Why? Amen. First, give us the flipping forensic evidence of the digital forensic evidence. Give us all of that. Just give us all of that. Give it to Amy. Give it to other smart people in the community. Don't give it to me. We'll find somebody that's actually like retired that did that for a living, and we'll all look at it together. Well, they'll look at it. The people that are smarter will look at it, and they will be able to tell, you know. So, yeah. How much exchange was there? That is interesting, Kel. Yeah. It's just when you put it all together, like, you can definitely see that they railroaded him. He did not get due process. I think even in the appeals brief, at least in one of the portions that Prof read out, it was the only time in like Indiana, in modern Indiana history or in all of Indiana history, that a pre-convicted inmate spent that amount of time in prison. Or there was something that they said was a bullet point, like a statistic, and Rick Allen was the only person that had ever been exposed to that or subjected to that. So would be shocked if we ever find out what really happened to Libby and Abby. I think. Oh, hi, Snoop. Hi. Hello. Let me know if you want a wrench. The safekeeping. Okay, yeah. Safe. Yes, that's right, Kelly. Thank you. That's why I need you guys. I think they knew what they were doing when they were giving him Haldol and messing with his medications. That feels very deliberate to me. You know? I don't know. I think people's jobs should be on the line for that. Like, you're a doctor. Whoever allowed that without proper oversight, you've lost your job, dude. Don't give me that shit. Do you want to oh yeah, you do. Okay, cool. Sorry. Oh, hi, Mother of Dragons. Hi. Doctor. Yeah, the doctor. Mother of Dragons, do you want a wrench? Does anybody else want a wrench that I haven't given a wrench? What it is? MK Ultra. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Not there. Did it come back? Sure. Okay, cool. Yay. Where did it go? Come on. I need to figure out how to work OBS because StreamYard is disappointing me. I am not thrilled. I am not thrilled. Some people, is there any advantages to wrenches? Just like, I don't know, it's just fun. It's just fun because, like, I feel like very tech savvy that I'm like, oh, here, let me go click on some things and look at that. Oh, yay. So, why does no one care that Tony Klein is in the wind? I think people do. I think there's a story there too. I also don't want to piss off Snay. Snay was in here earlier. I know he's friendly with him, so. But, you know, truth is the truth, so. But I don't have anything to show anything yet, so. But if facts come out, then I think it's fine. Yeah. He like being blue. Yeah. It's just fun, Kel. It's like we're all like a sea of blue. Um, maybe if he's watching on my phone, she says hi. Oh, hi, baby. It's a baby. But yeah, I do think Anthony Shots is bigger than what everybody's been allowed to believe. And I really do think there were like reports put out like around his trial time, maybe even a little bit before. Don't eat that. It's a bad kitty. It's a naughty kitty. What were we talking about? Reports that like 40 some people had been arrested in connection to the Anthony Shots account. Like, I don't know why my brain made that up, but like when Criminality, she had an open panel. That was the first time like I ever went on a live. I think that was the first time. And I got up and I wanted to talk about like the ruins and Odinism and stuff like that. But Gray Hughes got up and like immediately called me stupid, which was fine. Like it ended up being fine. But he did corroborate that like he seemed to remember them saying something about after it came out about Keegan Klein or the Anthony Shots account that like 40 some people had been arrested in connection to it. So it's like it wasn't just in my head, was it? But they've erased shit off the internet before. And of course, like that's another sucky thing about Delphi too, is that like if you say that to new people coming in, they're like, they didn't erase it. No, that's it. You're silly. And it's like they did with the stupid ass Ives and the non secular shit. Like that was around because like when I made my rune videos, I cited that shit, you know? Because like there were actual examples of people like citing that. And then like the article mysteriously got edited. So yeah. See today, like that is why we need the flipping digital forensic evidence. Come on, guys. Come on. That's not, I mean, like, we're not asking for like miracles here. We're not asking for like Jeebus to come down and be like, have the whole thing solved for us. We're just like, can you just show us that you looked at it? Can you show us that you printed it off or that you sat down somewhere and that it's on file of you guys actually looking at it? Can we see that? Because like I don't believe you. What was amazing, right? Oh, thank you guys. You guys watched that? Oh my god. Thank you. Phew. He ended up being nice to me. He was like, if your Odinism theory ends up being right, I'll owe you a visor or something. And I was like, oh, thanks. And I didn't get that visor. But I do think that I do think that Clegg, Ferenczi, and Murphy did a good job looking at the information that they had. And a lot of those, well, some of those people overlapped with Delphi, for sure. I think they still do. Um, and like, of all the people that, if I was just here to like promote myself and to promote my nerd theories, and I would love to keep nerding out about runes because they're fun, um, I would still be on that train. But like, I think the best that we can come to for the way that the crime scene was set up was that it was meant to look ritualistic. And that's the best we can come to. Because, like I said, unless we apprehend the actual criminals, the actual people that did the staging of the crime scene, because the stagers could have been different from the perpetrators too, for all we know. But apprehending the people that staged it or that arranged it, and then, asking them to be honest with us, and then assuming that they are honest with us is the only way we're going to know if it was truly ritualistic or not. And I think that's why the FBI, they irritate the shit out of me, but I think that's why they hedge ritual crime. They like touch it with like a 10-foot pole, because it's like, once you start going into intention, it becomes that much harder to prove. And you get caught up on these minute details and stuff. And I know a lot of you like do believe in like the satanic stuff. And if that's what you're calling it, that's what you're calling it. But I do prefer to be more particular and more specific if it is a specific ritual, because then And another thing that doesn't get talked about enough is that like, having worked at a crystal shop, one time at the crystal shop, it's definitely American Pie, but like, working at the crystal shop, you get all sorts of people that come in, and they all have like their own system. Now, some of them that are newbies will come in and be like, I'm a Gardnerian Wiccan or whatever. I'm a Alexandrian Wiccan, or I'm a, ceremonial magician, and I'm a, OTO, and I'm whatever. And it's like, okay, well, the more that they like dig into it, I think the more they play with it, and the more they like develop their own practices. It becomes like their own way of doing things, and it becomes very particular, and that doesn't get emphasized enough. And it's because, yeah, a lot of those people are academics, or they are trained in like law enforcement and stuff, so they don't have the necessarily like the nuance to sit there and be like, okay, but actual practitioners are not like die hard sticking to a doctrine or a dogma of any kind, especially like people that are into magic and witchcraft and the occult practices. Everybody kind of wants to be their own individual, like they want their own practice, they want their own aesthetic, they want their own vibe. I don't really know how to explain it, but that's, that was something that needs to like actually be kind of looked at better, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I think it's about time that I go pick up my folks. So I really appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you again to everybody with channels, getting out the word. If you have a channel, please promote it in chat so people can go back and click on them and go and subscribe, because the bigger and the more robust we make this community of people that are genuinely trying to look at things reasonably and in good faith and get to some semblance of the truth or closer to it, um, I think that's the only way there's actually going to be any sort of success, really, on this case. It was very botched and contaminated for whatever reason, and we are where we are because of it. And we don't have a time machine to go back and prevent it from getting botched. So that's kind of where we are. What's that say? I thought he suddenly the sticks and wanted to look like witchcraft. Yeah, that's right. That's what Snoop Sleuth is right. That's what Keegan supposedly said, that he staged the crime scene. Well, thank you, Moonbeam. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Give me some red meat. I like my meat. Well, that could be bad. That could be bad. Not trying to get clipped and be like, look at that hoe, that dirty, dirty hoe. Um, yeah. And you're no longer a wrench me. Awesome. But yeah, I will. I will enjoy the barbecue. I will, guys. But everybody, thank you again. And I think you're all doing fantastic work. I'm so grateful that you guys are doing that work because, like, my brain only can do what it does. And that's kind of a nebulous, zoomed out, move pieces around, and then see what fits. And if it doesn't fit, then you have to keep playing with it, you know? So that's my niche. That's like the one thing. And a lot of people can do that too. So we need people that, you know, get hyper focused on things that are detail oriented, or even people like me, but that like also bring other things too, you know. Because right now, like, I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of like the tank. I was willing to take hits, some of the incoming hits, um, with the harassment and stuff, but we needed Air Force the whole time. We needed several carriers, and we needed air support. Because, like, especially now, like, tanks don't matter anymore. We needed drones. Um, sorry, that's my ex-husband. Super into modern warfare and World War II. So like that's kind of like how I've been looking at it. I don't know why. I just couldn't find a better analogy. So, oh, nice. Cal, yeah, I need to figure out when they're going, and then I'm gonna go because like turkey legs. I mean, let's be real. That's like the only reason I go. Turkey legs. I get to dress up. Gotta find better shoes. But turkey. Oh, joust. Love the joust. Love the horsies. I just like seeing horsies. Um, oh, petting zoo. Yeah, turkey legs, joust, petting zoo, dress up. Oh, and the body ladies. Oh, and if I don't know if they were there last year, but the Oregon guy that does like the exorcist thing. I love that guy too. But I love the body wenches. I love their comedy show and stuff. Um, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there, man. I try not to buy trinkets though because like I usually can figure out how to make the trinkets. Not as well, but like, you know, it's more fun to learn how to make them, in my opinion. I can't make the metal stuff. Like, obviously, like the beautiful Damascus steel and stuff, or like the carved wood and bone handles. Um, the Celtic band. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. Like, oh my gosh, I do love that they serve alcohol there. As long as it's not hot. And that's why I like to go earlier. Because, like, and this year's been warmer too, Cal. So we'll see. I need to. I need to make sure that the outfit I have is like pretty hardcore sweat proof. I'm a sweater. I perspire to cool my body down. I'm efficient that way. So, but yeah, I'm most excited about the turkey leg because like I love walking around just gnawing on a turkey leg. It's like the coolest thing. I don't know why. I think like I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I love seeing all the artisans too because I love seeing what they make. So I know. It gets too hot and then like you dehydrate if you drink too much alcohol. It's not like I get plastered, but like usually I wait to eat because like I want to eat the turkey leg. I want to eat all the turkey leg. I think one year I saved the bone too because I was like, I'm gonna learn how to carve into bone. No, girl, you're not doing that again. You're not doing that again. So yeah, but okay, I love you guys. Oh shit, I better go pick up my parents. Sorry. I will take my ADD medicine next time, and I will probably have a presentation before I come to you live again because yeah, that's why I went live at like kind of a random time to not run into any interference. But it was an excellent chat. Like I love this chat. You guys are the best chats. Oh, please leave your links. Oh, that's another reason. If you're mods too, you can leave links in comment sections. So at least on my channel, some channels I don't think you can, but on my channel you can. If you're a mod, you can link your channel in the comments. So please do that because not everybody like pulls up the live chat when they're watching. So if you guys want to put it in the actual comment section, that way people will know to go, well, and just say like, here's the link to my channel. You know, that would be great because that way people would, you know, probably go more. So, oh, and click the bell icon. Yeah, that too. Yeah. Yeah. Cause like, I don't go live. I try not to go live too much. Cause like I was saying, when I get triggered, then I say a bunch of shit and then I have to edit it and I suck at editing. And I have a whole ass computer I have to figure out. Same with the OBS because I hate streaming. First world problems, guys. First world problems. You know what I'm saying? If there's a tech wizard out there, send them my way because I need them. Or pray to the tech gods like that it gets through my head because I've had this computer since end of November and I'm still like, oh, like pretty much all of ChatGPT is, what does this mean? If I click on this, will the computer explode? Like, what does this do? Like, because, like, I was that kid back in the day when you would spend all night writing, like, a high school term paper, and then you would just forget to hit the save button, and it would be gone. Like, that's the catastrophe that I see every time. Like, something pops up on the computer. I'm like, oh my God, if I click it, is it going to ruin everything? So, oh yeah, I gotta go pick up my parents. Thank you. Okay, bye guys. I love you. Sorry, bye.